let me share my screen and we'll get to the science. I hope you're grateful for the science. So today we're going to jump in and do that. Perfect. See my screen there? We got ageLOC Youth coming up. So this is actually one of our top selling supplements around the globe. So pay attention. Hopefully you can learn a few insights about this product. It really is our most advanced anti-aging supplement ever. It's been termed the mother of all supplements. And it's because it's based on this concept of use span versus lifespan, right? Lifespan is all about the years that you live until you die. And then use span is about the quality of life that you live. And that was the focus behind the science behind this product, is how can we improve this use span? In other words, quality of life, better energy, better vitality, better health. And so we focused on these three key areas, right? It's based on this gene expression insight and science that we did. It's based on a natural blend of ingredients that are difficult to obtain, even from a healthy diet. And then it modulates these aging defense mechanisms. So we'll talk about each of these points. First of all, when we talk about gene expression, we're talking about going to the source of aging, right? So right in the middle, that's the source. But usually on the outside, it's treating the signs and the symptoms. Those are Band-Aid fixes that don't really go to the core of what the problem is and what's really going on. Now, our approach is let's go to the source. Let's identify the source and target that. So when it comes to our gene expression research, gene expression is a natural, normal phenomenon that occurs, right? We're not talking about mutation or changes in DNA, right? That's what we get from mom and dad. That's set for life. Typical aging is what happens when gene expression goes up and down in certain genes throughout the body, and that's not ideal. But then we have healthy aging. Healthy aging is a model that we know improves the aging process. It's a nutritional regimen that it lowers the calories, maintains the protein and the vitamins and minerals, and we know improves how we age. And then ageLOC Youth is the same typical aging model, but they're given ageLOC Youth, and you can see that there's almost a complete reversal of gene expression. It's actually really cool. You can see that a lot of these genes are shifting toward a more healthy or youthful state. So that's what's incredible about ageLOC Youth, and this is actually in the brain. But we also went deeper in the science, and I want to point this out to you in that it's not just in the brain, it's in the muscle, it's in the heart. Thousands of genes are being shifted toward a more youthful or healthy state in multiple tissues throughout the body. And what's interesting about the science here is that it's not just like one anti-aging gene, right? In fact, I almost laugh when I see like, oh, we found the one anti-aging gene. There's thousands of anti-aging genes that are changing, but the particular genes that are shifting in the muscle are usually very different from the ones that shift in the brain or in the heart. And so that's why this systemic gene expression research that we do is intriguing, to be able to find a blend of ingredients, to be able to shift gene expression systemically throughout the body to provide these youthful benefits, because there's no one single ingredient that's going to provide all of these gene expression changes in all of these different tissues. So it's also a blend of ingredients that are difficult to obtain, even from a healthy diet, you know, from fish oil to resveratrol to the Japanese natto that has vitamin K2 to onion bioflavonoids. There's all of these ingredients, and based on personal preferences. So for example, maybe you just don't like fish, and so you don't eat fatty fish and you're not getting that from your diet. Or maybe you eat citrus fruits, but you peel off the peel, right, or the rind of the fruit, and you're throwing away some of the bioactive bioflavonoids that are naturally found within. So you just prefer not to consume some of these ingredients. Well, what about geography? That's another good example. Purple corn. If you live in Peru, you probably get a lot of purple corn. They have chicha morada. It's a popular drink. They have it in their foods. But in most places around the world, we're not getting an effective dose of purple corn. And then consistent and precise dose, right? A lot of us are not getting the dose that we have in ageLOC Youth, even from diet, even if you have a healthy diet. For example, resveratrol, a good example of that. We have 30 milligrams of resveratrol in ageLOC Youth. Now, if you were to compare that to red wine, if you're drinking a glass of red wine and one of the highest types of red wine, say you get about 1 milligram per glass, well, that means you'd have to take 30 glasses of red wine to get that equivalent of resveratrol. And I'm not recommending anyone to consume 30 glasses of red wine a day. That's not healthy. That's not sustainable. But just because of getting that dose, same thing with alpha lipoic acid. You don't get a lot from diet alone. You really need to supplement with it to get the effective dose that's going to shift those genes towards a more youthful, healthy state. These ingredients are also consumed in different parts of the world that are known for health benefits and better health and better longevity. That's one of the incredible things about that too. You look about a lot of these ingredients are found in the Mediterranean diet and Mediterranean regions throughout Europe, for example. Okinawa, Japan, right? These people, some of them are long lived because of some of the foods that they eat and the culture and the social life and other factors too. But food and ingredients can make a big difference, and a lot of these ingredients are known for their health benefits, in addition to being difficult to obtain even if you have a healthy diet. What about these aging defense mechanisms? So we know they're found throughout the body. They defend us to help us stay healthy. And this is kind of the mechanism of action outside of gene expression that's supporting these benefits. So what are these mechanisms? We have tissue renewal. That just means that the cells that you're born with are not the cells that you have today, right? Your bone goes through bone turnover and it's changing. Your muscle as well, right? You go to the gym, you break down that muscle tissue. Well, guess what? It builds it back up. Same thing with even your brain and your blood and your immune system and all these different things is going through a constant state of renewal. And so you want healthy division and you want healthy support of these new cells that support health and wellness as we age. Metabolism. Now, this is about this shift that occurs with aging and usually about the type of energy that our cells like to use. And typically what happens is as we get older, our bodies use less fat as a source for fuel and more sugar as a source for energy. And that metabolic shift or reprogramming is something that occurs and something we can do about if we support it with ageLOC Youth. Antioxidant defense, right? We know about antioxidants. These are very powerful ingredients that help to combat the negative effects of free radicals that we get from so many different sources in the world and from our own internal metabolism. Antioxidants help to neutralize these free radicals. Free radicals are unpaired electrons that they like to work in the buddy system, okay? And so when these electrons are unpaired in the outer valence shell, if you remember from Chemistry 101, that's the outside part of the molecule we're talking about. Well, it likes the buddy. If it lacks the buddy, it becomes highly unstable. And instability is not good and can wreak havoc on different cells because when they're unstable, they're reaching out to grab that extra electron. And that means that it can actually damage or change or alter our cells and how they function, the proteins, the DNA, and even the lipids that we have inside of the cells. And so a little bit of free radicals is okay. That's normal and natural. But it's in excess, that's when it causes oxidative stress, which is linked to accelerated aging in just about every tissue throughout the body. So we need adequate antioxidants. And from diet alone, we're not really getting there. Detox and stress response is another key mechanism. Detox we know about because we get toxins from pollutants and from the food supply and from water and from other sources. And we have a good detox system. The problem is that with aging, it kind of declines in its function, and that ability to get rid of and change the toxins inside of the body kind of diminishes. And so we need a little bit of help. Stress response is just talking about how our body responds to all the different stressors that occur. Inflammatory balance. This to me is probably the key mechanism of action in terms of helping because we know that inflammation is critical to our immune response. The problem is that when it goes haywire and we get this chronic inflammatory response, that chronic inflammation is just that low-grade inflammation in the body. It kind of stunts or hinders our immune response to keep us healthy and safe and functioning well. In addition, it actually takes a lot longer to be able to provide a healthy immune response when we do get sick, when we do have that chronic inflammation, which comes with aging, but it can also come with when our bodies are ill and sick and not feeling the way that they should. And so supporting healthy inflammation supports a healthy immune response to keep us healthy. And then DNA protection and repair, right? That we have DNA inside of our cells. This is the genetic blueprint that we have. And the problem is that our DNA is under attack as well from these free radicals. And we want to be able to protect the DNA, but we also have enzymes that repair the DNA on a regular basis. And we want to support that through good nutrition with ageLOC Youth. So how this all comes together is we have gene expression at the core, right? This is the blueprint. This is the DNA that we have. And how those genes are being expressed or how active they are can change with aging and impact and control these aging defense mechanisms. And what they're doing is, think of it as kind of like this big shield. It's this big shield of protection against all of these outside things, right? From stress, pollution, diet, toxins, sun, smoking, obesity, free radicals, alcohol, injuries, sedentary lifestyle, overeating, exhaustion, or exhaust, digital screens, and loud noises, right? So it's like this shield that's saying, hey, I know you're out there, world, trying to age me, right? You're aging my skin, my eyes, my brain, all of these things. If we can have healthy gene expression that supports these mechanisms with ageLOC Youth, it's like that shield is given extra superpower strength to protect us and help us to age better, to support that use span. So, what are the systemic benefits that you get from supporting healthy gene expression and these ADMs? Well, here they are. I'm not going to read every single line that you can see here, but just note that when this is happening, you get the cellular health, you get the brain health, heart health, metabolic health, skin health, bone health, joint health, eye health, physical performance, immune health, right? All of these benefits are supported with these ingredients, with these mechanisms. I mean, even just looking into detail about some of these things like heart health is just about blood vessel integrity, normal blood glucose control, healthy blood pressure, metabolic health, supporting healthy lipid and glucose metabolism, right? Fighting against that shift that normally happens with aging, skin health, right? The skin barrier, skin health. There's so much going on here. And there actually is a theory in nutrition that these ingredients, they're working in the body where you need it most. And this could be one of the reasons why some people feel benefits in certain areas and other people feel benefits in other areas. It could be that they're supporting those healthy genes and those aging defense mechanisms in the spot where you need it the most based on your own health and wellness journey, right? And in addition, I want to point out too that some of the benefits can be felt, but other benefits are not really felt, but they're still happening based on the science, like cellular health benefits. Most people don't notice, like, oh, I notice a difference in my DNA damage and protection and repair, right? That's something that goes on behind the scenes. But I want you to know there's really good science and evidence to support every single one of these. When we formulate ageLOC Youth, we have this selection criteria of ingredients based on the literature and based on gene expression. And when we look at the literature to support all of these benefits, we make sure that there's good quality randomized studies to be able to support each and every one of these things. So that's a lot in a nutshell here, but I wanted to dive in a little bit deeper into some of the substantiation. We could have stopped there as a company and said, okay, that's great. Look, we have our gene expression science. That's innovative. That's incredible. That's shifting. We have these aging defense mechanisms, and we have these systemic benefits. But we wanted to keep going and say, do you know what? Beyond just the science literature, and beyond our innovative gene expression science, which, by the way, there are patents that protect this method of how we apply this science to our products. So for anyone that wants to copycat what we're doing, they're already 30 years behind. And then the clinical research. This is something that I'm a fan of as a science trainer, because I believe in clinical research to support the benefits. It's kind of like icing on top of the cake. You know, if you don't have the icing, the cake isn't going to taste quite so good. This is making our products taste that much better. So let's talk about some of that clinical research. First and foremost, this is a product that is scanner certified because we put it to the test. We had it tested with ageLOC Youth and said, hey, let's get some volunteers and have them take this or a control, which was no product in this study. And we can see ageLOC Youth has a nice steady increase over time. Keep in mind, as you point out, some people point out to me like, hey, look at week 6 and week 4 and week 8. It kind of goes up and down a little bit. Yeah. Individual scores are not as important as the pattern or the trend over time. So keep that in mind as we prep for the scanner and prep for Prism. It's not about 2 isolated scores. It's about the pattern. It's about what you see consistently happening over time, because we're measuring tiny little molecules in a complex matrix of the skin, and you're going to have some natural variability. That's important to remember and to note, but it's the trend and the pattern over time, and keeping in mind how accurate and how validated the device is. So first and foremost, we can prove that your antioxidant defense is going up with ageLOC Youth through the biophotonic scanner and the research that we did here. In addition, we can prove that these aging defense mechanisms are working, and one of the best models is to actually look at the skin. Now, this is a skin study where before and after ageLOC Youth, we exposed a non-sun exposed area of the skin to UV light. Now you can see 0 MED right on the left column. That is 0 UV light. 1 MED is enough light that causes some pinkness or some redness on the skin. 2 MED is twice that dose, and 3 MED is 3 times that dose. Now you can see before ageLOC youth, you're seeing a lot of redness, a lot of pinkness, a lot of damage on the skin. And then with the 3, if you look closely, you can see that that damage is spreading. And that's what happens, right? If you don't control the damage, it can spread, and then the number of damaged cells too. But what I want to point out to you is after 2 months of taking ageLOC youth, look at that 1 MED dose. This is the exact same dose that caused that same redness on that same individual here in this study. And you can see that it disappeared. So it's showing really good skin protective qualities from a supplement. This is not an external thing. This is a supplement that you take orally that is getting to the skin and providing that level of protection. And so this is in support of these ADMs that I just talked about, right? The tissue renewal. We know that skin is a tissue that renews on a regular basis, right? The skin cells that you have right now, they go through a constant state of exfoliating or sloughing off and regenerating new healthy skin cells on a regular basis, but they're being better protected, right? With antioxidants, inflammatory balance, tissue renewal, right? DNA protection and repair. We're supporting all of these mechanisms through this evidence. And the other thing to point out here is the skin is a gateway to the rest of the body. So this is actually really good clinical evidence that these mechanisms are also being supported on the inside of the body too. So this is part of the skin study. In addition to skin protection and ADM support, we also have beauty from within as determined from a dermatologist and self-assessment. So you can see here on these different parameters, we have radiance, texture, overall appearance, and firmness. You can see there was a shift or there was a change as noted by a professional, but also self-assessment to see more beauty from within or youthful appearance benefits by taking this product. In addition, there was some instrumentation done on skin elasticity, which is how stretchy your skin is, right? When you're young, you stretch you pull your skin and it kind of snaps right back. It's that snapback quality. That's what elasticity is. And you can see that there was an improvement in skin elasticity as a result of taking this product. So pretty cool results there. Well, there's more. This was a absorption and kinetics study. That's a fancy term for, hey, do these ingredients actually absorb? And how well do they absorb, and how long do they stay in the bloodstream? And these are actually with some of these polyphenol-based ingredients. Think like the citrus bioflavonoids, the resveratrol, the purple corn. You can look at these metabolites, and the story and the science message here is that these ingredients as well are being absorbed, so we're using them in effective doses. But number 2, they usually kind of go up and then they come back down pretty quickly. And so this gave us good rationale that to get more consistent levels in the blood and to get the effective dose, we should be supplementing twice a day to be able to get these inside of our blood that are going to our cells, that are providing that protection. I like to joke with people that you should take it morning and night because free radicals don't go to bed at nighttime when you do. They continue to attack us, although generally speaking, we get more attacks during the day. That being said, this was a really fun study that we did looking at this up and down movement of these metabolites, showing that they're being absorbed and that we need to get more consistent dose to be able to spread it out throughout the day. In addition, we have a brain health study, and this was actually one of the coolest studies. So fMRIs were done that can look at the activity of brain cells, and this was at rest, and you can see that there were improvements in this imaging technology looking at attention, memory, and error detection. Now, when it comes to these imaging, it actually didn't necessarily mean more activity in support of these things. And in fact, for some of these things, it was actually less active, but still functioning just as well. And what that taught us from a science perspective is that, I mean, and just think about this in your real life. Like when your brain is overloaded with information and all the things that you have to do, your brain is going a million miles an hour. Are you able to really focus and pay attention and remember the things that you need to remember? Or is it just kind of a blur up there, right? And so what we actually noted in our study is that it's almost in a way that we're uncoupling or we're freeing brain cells because less power or less energy is being used to pay attention, to remember and do these things, bringing up these resources to do other things, right? To multitask, to focus on your job or to focus on, what's coming next, whatever it might be. And so it was a really, really, really cool finding in this study. In addition to some of these brain tests that were done, there were improvements in memory, verbal fluency, and mood. This was a fantastic study. And this was actually in healthy individuals. They didn't have signs of any kind of brain condition or things like that. They just had normal wear and tear, but these were healthy 40 to 60-year-olds that were either taking ageLOC Youth or a placebo, and we saw some really, really cool findings with fMRI. Well, there's other technology as well that was used. It's called magnetic resonance spectroscopic measurement, okay, MRS. Now, this is another technology that's used to actually detect metabolites or compounds inside of the brain. And the one that I want to focus on is glutathione. There were others that we looked at in the study that were pretty cool related to bioenergetics or the energy utilization in the brain. But glutathione really supports that detox and antioxidant mechanism. And in healthy individuals, you can see that there's a small but still significant difference in terms of the increase in glutathione in the brain of healthy individuals. As it actually could be a lot bigger if we had an older population or if we had people that had more brain concerns, right, in this particular study. But nonetheless, glutathione is considered a master antioxidant. It's not something that you can actually take orally. It needs to be produced intrinsically or inside of your body. And this is aiding in detox, in antioxidant, in inflammatory pathways, really helping to clean up all the gunk that we have inside of the brain so that our brain can do all of the things that it wants to do, right? Learn language, focus, pay attention, remember, right? Perform all the cognitive functions that it needs to do. And so this is a very small finding, but it's very significant. And in fact, in the paper that's been published here in the Free Radical Biology Medicine in 2020, we looked at the literature, and there was no other supplement that showed these findings with this instrumentation from a dietary supplement in a relatively short period of time. In just 6 weeks, we're seeing that improvement and that increase, not only in other tissues, but inside of the brain, which is really, really, really cool stuff. So I know that was a lot of science. It was a little bit deeper into the science than I wanted to go, but hopefully you learned something new about ageLOC Youth today, and hopefully you start taking it and sharing it with your friends and family. It really is one of my favorites. It's something that I take on a regular basis. I got my ageLOC Youth. I hope you do too.